Welcome back in. It's the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel. We've got Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. We bring the latest in Arizona high school football recruiting year-round and even through what's been so far a fantastic high school football season in 2014. Let's get off right the bat, Jason. Recruiting news. Ryan Parenteau, the Boulder Creek hard hitter, we have been pubbing him, talking about him quite a bit. He picks up a very substantial offer.
Yeah, it was offered by the University of Hawaii. This is what I think is going to be the first of quite a few coming on because he's playing great. He had 2 interceptions last week, one for a score, has 4 on the season. He's a hard hitter, like we mentioned, has previous offers from Air Force, from South Dakota State, and from NEU. But like I mentioned, I think this is going to be the first of a long string of offers for Parenteau.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he's been one of the state's leaders in interceptions so far this season. More offers to get to. Arizona Christian really leaving their mark around the state. They said they were going to build their program around Arizona players. Now they're out there playing games and they're showing what they're made of, and they're offering some pretty substantial, pretty impressive players from around the valley.
Yeah, Coach Yanis and his staff doing exactly what they said they're going to do. They're going to recruit the state of Arizona and recruit it hard. Now, some of the guys that they offer there, because there was a bunch last week: Trent Gilbert, the wide receiver punter out at Higley, Grant Johnson, the center from Hamilton, Micah Navarrete, he's a very good defensive end out of Centennial, one of the state's leaders in sacks, Cole Delgado from Pinnacle, he plays some O-line and plays some D-line, and then Brandon Leone, he's like an athlete, a scat back from out at Estrella Foothills.
So that's the recruiting news for this week. Now let's get into some of the top performances from last week. And Jason, our player of the week out at Notre Dame Prep, did a little bit of everything with an exclamation mark involved.
Yeah, a guy that we really haven't mentioned and kind of under the radar, but Notre Dame head coach Gary Gregory thinks he has a chance to play at the 1AA Division II level. Scooter Bankafear, he returned not 1, but 2 kickoffs against St. Mary's, which is huge. And that's not all he did. He had an interception on defense, recovered a fumble, and had 11 tackles. Unreal performance for him.
Fill in the stat sheet. A key to a college coach's heart on special teams too, right?
Yeah, special teams wins a lot of football games. Now, obviously, he did that very well for the Saints.
So congrats to Scooter Bankafear. Now our breakout prospects. We go out to games every week. There are players that catch our eye that even we feel are a little bit under the radar. One player we have talked about in the past, but not nearly enough based on from what I saw out at Sunny Slope last week, is Jacob Eshelman. Plays both ways for Sunny Slope, and he is just a physical specimen. Stands tall, very athletic. He had a huge 80-plus yard touchdown that unfortunately was called back for a penalty in their win over Fairfax last week. But this is a kid, Jason, that is extremely talented. I like what he does on the field, and I think that he can make an impact at the next level.
Yeah, very good player, tight end and outside linebacker, Eshelman. But the guy that I want to talk about, I was at the Red Mountain and Chaparral game, and there are some very good players. Xavier Davis, Keenan Walker, huge battle I got to watch. But one that I really liked is junior defensive lineman Brandon Jamison from Chaparral. He got basically what was the game-clinching sack at the end of the game that helped Chaparral in their comeback win. They were down 27-7 to Red Mountain, ended up winning that game 31-27. But Jamison, 6'3", 225 pounds, and knows how to get after the quarterback.
So those are our breakout prospects from last week. Now let's look ahead to this week. Some incredible games on the schedule. Could be some playoff previews, maybe even some state championship previews with some of these matchups. Can't just spotlight one or two. So Jason, we're going to spotlight a few of them. I'm going to tell you the game. You tell me the difference maker or what the difference will be in the matchup. Starting with the battle at Arizona Avenue, Chandler against Hamilton.
Now, what a great win that Hamilton had last week, defeating Mountain Point. But this game has come down to the wire in the last 3 or 4 matchups. So I think it's going to be either who can make a play last or who can make a stop last. And Hamilton's defense was great last week, holding Mountain Point to only 10 points. Chandler's got that great offense. We'll see what happens.
Centennial and Liberty, they played last week. They've become a little rivalry, but also Centennial and Deer Valley have become a nice little rivalry, and they face off this week.
Yeah, another huge game out on the west side. I really think this is going to be Can Centennial, which has a huge running game, run the ball against the great defensive line at Deer Valley.
Next, maybe the state championship preview. It's our state championship rematch from last year in Division III, Queen Creek against Saguaro.
Yeah, can Queen Creek stop Saguaro's vaunted offense? They're just high-powered and scoring left and right. And for Queen Creek, who is going to step up and play running back for Weston Barlow? Last year, Matt Guida went down. Barlow stepped up. Who's going to step up in place of the injured Barlow?
Some great matchups, Jason. Those games will be on Thursday night because it's Yom Kippur on Friday. Also, another couple games to keep an eye out on Thursday. PV against Arcadia. That'll be a good one. And also, we mentioned Ryan Parento, Boulder Creek facing off against O'Connor. And then Friday night, Arizona Lutheran facing off against Northwest Christian. Should be a great one between two of the powerhouses for the small schools. That's it for this week's edition of the Recruiting Roundup. Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rockin' Refuel on Sports360AZ.com.